Rose Abang, a tall, beautiful, light-skinned 23-year-old braid hawker with a curvaceous body type and nicely braided cornrows, stood out among the crowd. She balanced a wide tray of bread on her head with the grace of someone used to hard work. The sun rose gently over the busy city, laying golden rays on the rustling rooftops, congested roadways, and early morning activity of the market sector. The air was alive with the crackle of fried akra, traders' rhythmic chants, and the honking of impatient automobiles. Rose Abang, a tall, beautiful, light-skinned 23-year-old braid hawker with a curvaceous body type and nicely braided cornrows, stood out among the crowd. She balanced a wide tray of bread on her head with the grace of someone used to hard work. She wore sandals and basic clothing that emphasized her curvy physique, yet her eyes emitted a fire that poverty could not extinguish. Rose was the eldest of 4 siblings. Her mother had fallen into a deep depression after losing her father to an unexpected sickness, battling an illness that had exhausted both her vitality and their savings. Rose had dropped out of school to work as a hawker, determined to provide her siblings with food, medication, and school fees. Each morning, she rose with purpose, selling bread on the same busy road near the motorway. But something about this morning felt odd. A strange stillness lingered beneath the usual chaos. She shrugged it off, tightened her headscarf, and began chanting, hot bread, soft bread from the oven. Hot bread, soft bread, fresh from the oven. Elsewhere in the city, John Davis, a light-skinned, 6 foot tall, handsome 30-year-old billionaire CEO of John Davis Industries Limited, sat calmly in the back of his white Toyota Highlander 2023 model. He wore a fine-fitted suit and a gold watch worth more than some people's annual pay, but his face remained drawn. He was staring out the window blankly, lost in thinking of his late mother. Evelyn Davis, John's mother, was a teacher, a humble woman with deep principles who taught her son to respect people from all corners of life. Her death 3 years ago had left a void in John's heart. The women he dated since then had all appeared artificial, more concerned with his money than his spirit. His driver, Mr. Lucky, expertly handled the crowded streets until screech! He slammed on the brakes. John was propelled forward. What happened? There's a girl, she fell, the driver said. John looked up to see her, a young woman sprawled on the ground, bread rolls sliding across the walkway. Her tray tipped over and her elbow was scraped. John stepped forward without reluctance. "Are you okay?" he inquired, crouching beside her. Rose looked up, surprised. Their eyes met, hers wide with shock. He is filled with concern. "I'm fine," she murmured, hurrying to pick up the bread, embarrassed by the attention. "Please, sir, don't worry." John assisted with the roll call. Her hands trembled slightly, but she walked fast. "That was our fault, my driver." "No," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "This is my daily reality." Her tone was one of quiet acceptance, not fury. John saw both tiredness and strength in her eyes. Something about her moved him greatly. When they finished, he dug into his wallet and brought out a large reward of cash. "Please take it for bread, and I apologize for the inconvenience." Rose kept staring at it, her lips pulled together in a narrow line. "Thank you, but I can't accept it. I labor to earn my money." John was astonished. Nobody said no to him, not in that way. He suggested, "At the very least, let me give you a ride home." Rose paused. Her pride said no. However, her scraped elbow and sore feet answered yes. That ride altered everything. They talked in the car. He inquired about her name. She informed him about her family, her father who is late, and her desire to become a nurse. He listened. He really listened. When they reached her neighborhood, John was shocked by the level of poverty there. Children in ragged clothing ran barefoot. Tin rooftops gleamed in the sun. Yet Rose walked with her head high, smiling and waving at her neighbors. Since that day, John had sought excuses to see her. He initially stated he was interested in donating bread to orphanages and needed her assistance. Then he began showing up with tiny gifts, such as medicines for her mother and shoes for her siblings. Rose remained wary. She couldn't understand why a man like John would be concerned about someone like her. Was there pity? Curiosity? But the more time they spent together, the softer her heart became. He took her to a serene park one evening. They sat beneath a tree, the city lights blinking in the distance. "Why are you doing this?" she questioned. "You make me feel real," John replied simply. "You do not want anything from me, not my money, just me." She blinked, startled. Nobody had ever told her that before. Their romance grew in secrecy. He took her to libraries, art museums, and late-night drives. He also paid for a private instructor to assist her in preparing for her nursing entrance exams. Rose felt hopeful for the first time in years. However, not everyone was delighted. John's board of directors issued several warnings. His bodies gossiped that she was a gold digger. When photographs of them appeared on social media, they caused a stir. Bread seller seduces billionaire. She is not fit to be his wife. Rose begged him to let her live. "You have a legacy to protect," she said through tears. "I'm not worth the trouble." John kissed her, silencing her. "You are worth everything." 6 months later, he addressed a press conference. The Globe awaited a corporate announcement. Instead, he dragged Rose onto the stage. "This is Rose Abang." He introduced her. "She is the woman in my life, and I want to ask her to marry me." Somebody could hear gasps throughout the room. Cameras were flashing. Rose started crying. "Yes," she said softly, overwhelmed. The wedding ceremony was tiny and personal, not as lavish as expected. John's commitment was straightforward. "With you, I found my home." They formed a new life together, one based on compassion and equality. Rose founded a non-profit organization to help impoverished young girls. John supported her at all times. Years later, Rose sat on their porch, nursing their newborn daughter. Her old braid tree now hung on the wall as a reminder of how far she had come. John kissed her on the cheek. Remember that morning you fell in front of my car? How could I forget? Rose spoke. That was the day I found the woman who changed my life. This story teaches us that love sees beyond status, wealth, or even background. Occasionally, the greatest treasures are found in the most unexpected place. Please do not forget to share, watch, like, and comment on our stories for more videos. Thanks and God bless. Bye bye.